Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Daniel Pinault, and I am a longtime Microsoft Access MVP. In today's video, I thought we would briefly, and I know you're going to be surprised by this one, but actually look at multi-valued fields. Now, these are what I consider to be evil, and I will always recommend you do not use them under any circumstance, and I will have another video coming out very shortly to demonstrate to you just how easy it is to do without them and still get the same functionality. But for today's video, this is actually coming from a client request. And long story short, I had a client approach me and they didn't want me to spend time redesigning and fixing the actual database schema, which is what really should have occurred here. But regardless, when the client makes a request and tells us what to do, that's our mandate, that's our mandate. But they used multi-valued fields in various places, but they were having one big issue with it. And it's that there is no means, well, amongst other problems, but there is no means to sort a multi-valued list when you're trying to display it to make choices. So basically, however you enter the data into the field initially, that's how it's presented to the user for the rest of the use of the database. So it's a real pain in the butt to work with, and unless you have a lot of forethought, it just doesn't work. It's just really horrible. There's several issues in multi-value fields, but this is one of the big ones. So let's just dive right in. Let me just demonstrate. So if I come here, I'm going to create a field for allergy, and we're going to make this into a lookup. So we're doing the multi-valued fields here. We're going to type in our list, and this is where we just start. And, you know, it can be anything you want. I don't know. Allergic to nuts, feathers, fur, let's do orange and kiwi. Hey, you get the idea. So you go in, you put in your list, you're all happy. We come here and we say we want multiple values. So now we're getting that multiple valued field and we say we're done. Okay, so we've created it. Now if we just save this change, yes, and we come into the table here, I've got two bogus entries, but now you see we've got our list. But they're not alphabetical. And if someone, even if you did take the time to enter them initially in an alphabetical manner, and then at a later date you go and add, it's no longer going to be sorted properly. Okay? So this is a big problem as far as I'm concerned. So how do we solve this problem? Now, first of all, we're not going to be working in a table. No one ever should. You should never allow your users to work directly in tables. So we're going to be working a form. So what I have here, you're going to see a very simple form, and it is linked to allergy. So the exact same list, there's no trickery going on here. And as you can see, it's not sorted. So how can we solve this problem? Well, what's happening behind the scenes? Something we don't see. But if we, use a little bit of black magic here and go and look at the hidden objects, and we come and look in the sys objects, and we come down to the names and we scroll down a bit, you will see that in reality Microsoft did create an allergy table. So behind the scenes it's doing, well, we presume proper normalization of the data. But we don't have access to this. You can't query this table, so we have no visibility, no control. So that doesn't help us much. All we have, it's always going to be the same thing, is our table. So let's go look at our table for 2 seconds at the allergy field. If we look at the lookup, we see here that our choices are still listed here. Even though Access has done something in the background, those choices appear here. So if we reorganize them here, you think to yourself, well, then it's going to reorder them in our list. And that is a fact. But who's going to do this manually? Who's going to do this on multiple fields? you know, it's just, so this is where, once again, the power of VBA comes in. And what I did is I just created a very simple routine. So what this does is we pass it a table name, a field, and then here optionally, are you sorting ascending or descending? I just added the ability to also do it descending. And we're going to go into that field. We're going to extract the row source value. And I'm going to parse it out properly into basically a comma separated value listing. And then I'm going to pass it off to this guy here, which will sort the values. It will sort an array because I will split it on the comma value here, and I will end up sorting an array and return back a sorted array. So now, if I just take this here and we want to sort the table employee, and we want to sort the multi-valued field named allergy. Now, if I just do that, it's run. Okay, it's fast. If we come here and we look now, you'll see we get a nicely ordered list, alphabetically ordered list. Let's just for fun come back here, and now we're going to say, no, I want it in descending order. We run it, we come back, we come back to our form, and instantaneously we have a reversed ordered, a descending ordered, sorted, multi-valued field. So as you can see, it is possible to sort it. It's not something you're doing directly here, but with a little bit of VBA, a little bit of ingenuity, we can still manage to add some form of sorting. So this is the type of routine that I include in my admin panel, where my users can go and make adjustments and additions to various lists. For this client, because it's multi-valued, I also have other functions to add to existing lists because, well, there's no table to, you know, bind a form to in the common sense. So more VBA, but regardless, after he does an addition, after he does any manipulation, then I run this to just ensure that everything is sorted neatly. So it's that simple. It's all really here in reality. We're just grabbing that row source. We're taking that row source and running it through a sorting routine, and then we're spitting it back out to the row source. So we redefine the row source with its own values, just sort it. And then we're done. It's that simple. And if we just take a look briefly at the table again, we come at that field and the lookups, you'll now see that that listing has been reordered. It's the same values, it's just been put in a logical order, an alphabetical order. Obviously, you know, if you have some weird ordering requirement, well, then it's just a question of adapting the VBA, right? So instead of just doing a standard sorting routine like I have here, then you'd have to alter this sort to meet whatever your needs are. But it isn't very hard. You can change this if you want to sort numbers and then alphabetical. You want to reverse that, make alphabetical. You'd have to divide your array into numeric versus alphabetical, you know, but you get the idea. It's all controlled in this sorting routine. So whatever sorting routine you use, that's going to be the output and the result that ultimately you'll see in your forms. And let's not kid ourselves, it is still going to be the sorting that you're going to see here as well, right? It affects everywhere, wherever the multi-valued field is used. Okay, I'm going to stop there for today. Like I say, I'm just doing this because I did some work, so I had the code, so I thought I'd share it with you. But I still adamantly advise you never to use multi-valued fields whatsoever. They're horrible. Whenever you're using anything that is hidden, it's a bad idea. Okay, you're doing a database development, you should have access to the tables. You should have access to the relationships between the tables. You should be able to go in and apply sorting. You should be able to bind a form to those tables so you can alter and edit the data as you require. You should be able to also sort on those values with ease, not this convoluted approach that I'm showing you today. It works. And luckily it does, because I was able to make my client happy. But that isn't the way that things should work when you're working with a database system, such as Access. So any of these hidden approaches, you should be avoiding. And like I said, a future video coming out, I will demonstrate to you just how easy it is to replicate in its entirety this whole multi-valued field thing by using properly normalized, accessible tables, giving you full control. And ultimately, the solution that I came out with comes down to 2 lines of code that are called, one to display it, and then once it closes, one to requery, refresh the display on the form to show the updated choices. But that's it. Everything else is just reusable code. Anyway, that will be in a future video, but just know that multi-valued fields can easily be replicated. It took me, I'm not even sure, an hour and a half to put out what I will show you in the next video. Anyway, back to today's video. I do hope for some of you this, helps you, that you can now at least sort these lists and make them a little bit easier for the end user, because let's not kid ourselves, when the lists are out of whack, it just makes users' lives more complicated than it needs to be. And we're here, you see, that's interesting too. When I update it, it stays in memory, as you can see. We're here, our job as developers is always to simplify the end user's life. That's our ultimate role. Obviously, we're building data warehouses and tools to store information, but the whole goal of any of these tools is to simplify somebody's work. And by having unorganized lists, you're really making their life difficult for no reason. So why not just throw this bit of simple code and just run it? And then you're making your users' lives so much simpler. And then they can just go and do whatever they want to do. Anyway, I'm stopping here. I'm wishing you all a great day, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.